Ah, Smart Water, now in a sleek can.
This feels cool, literally.
Perfect for social gatherings and on the go.
Should I start wearing turtlenecks?
One sip at a time, friend. Smart Water cans, for those with a taste for taste. Get yours today.
What happens when you're not just trying to build a new hotel in Vegas or even an infill apartment building? What if you're trying to create an entire neighborhood? Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm talking to Weina Zhang and Olin of Midtown, and they're trying to build a walkable, community-centered neighborhood near the Arts District. We'll learn how it will serve locals and just how far their vision is from a reality. It's Monday, June 16th. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Weina, Anna, so what is Midtown, and how is it different from the Arts District or downtown Las Vegas?
We're so happy to be here and really talk about this because this is really important to us, especially because we're from downtown Las Vegas. Midtown is really a new neighborhood that's emerging in the north part of the Arts District. So a lot of people know the Arts District for south of Charleston along Main Street, where you have all those great restaurants and art galleries and antique shops. But north of Charleston has kind of largely been undeveloped or unused as kind of this enclave of the Arts District. So Midtown is really built to build a whole new neighborhood that is part of the Arts District and really amplifying that north corner of it.
So, you're calling it Midtown, but it's also Midtown with a capital M. This is something that you as developers are building.
Correct. So we look at all the big cities across the U.S. and they all sort of have a midtown. You think of Manhattan and Chicago and L.A. Midtown always sits between, other points of interest in the city. And the Arts District is sort of that midway between the Las Vegas Strip and Fremont and downtown. And so it only makes sense that Vegas has its own midtown community and its own midtown neighborhood. So we're really just adding that to the city of Las Vegas. We really saw once we opened the English Hotel how successful it was and how much it brought up kind of that surrounding area. So it's really just continuing that growth for Las Vegas and continuing really a new urban center for the city. Las Vegas has long been kind of this sprawl into Summerlin and Henderson going out wide, and there hasn't been any focus on really growing vertical in the city. So this is kind of a new approach to really bringing that back into the urban structure of the town.
Yeah, infill has not really been the focus of development in Las Vegas. There's been a lot of talk of it for sure, but the things that seem to push forward are the let's get more BLM land, like let's sprawl. So it is interesting to see this project focus in underdeveloped areas. Now, was the English Hotel, was that always intended to be a part of this larger development, or did its success sort of spur this bigger idea?
Yes, English is one of the 8 buildings of the Midtown Plaza. So what Midtown serves is, truly we don't have an urban life in Vegas. Also, we shortage from 4,000 to 7,000 housings just in this area. Think about medical district, all the government, and then the Symphony Park, and the people working in downtown and Strip. This would be perfect home for them. That's why we built Midtown.
So can you tell me, what do you mean by the phrase that you're using, an urban life?
Urban life, which is mean for younger generation or older, so you don't have to drive into Northern Vegas, Summerlin, whatever. You live where close to your work. I think it's critical for us go vertical to solving a housing shortage problem. So that's why Midtown is the first place we start with.
When we talk about urban design and that urban lifestyle, it's really focusing on the walkability of the neighborhood of Midtown. And why we really selected the north part of the Arts District is because it's so well connected to what is a walkable neighborhood. So the Arts District is very walkable. It has bike paths. It has easy access to public transit. The city's invested a lot to really make this a pedestrian-friendly location for tourists and for residents. It's just missing that residential density. So Midtown is really providing residential density that'll take advantage of the walkability of the arts district.
And certainly I know that there's also been an emphasis here in Vegas on single family homes, which means that there's not a lot of affordable housing. So it sounds like you're focusing on apartment buildings. Will affordable apartment units also be a part of the Midtown development?
We don't have apartment. We have a hotel. We have a condo.
I see. Thank you for that correction. So can you tell us anything about the price range of the condos?
Yeah, so our model is really built on providing what we call lean luxury. And this is really kind of a high quality, design forward development, these condo buildings at a relatively affordable price to enter that market. And part of this is when we look at how do you build a neighborhood and how do you build a neighborhood from an economic sustainability standpoint. And this is really focused about creating, a socioeconomic neighborhood that will bring in the disposable income, kind of that higher quality resident that's going to support financially the rest of the neighborhood. So we don't focus necessarily on affordability in a way that's going to keep the neighborhood where it is. We're focused on bringing the neighborhood up to the next level. And that only benefits all of the surrounding areas. So it's about the socioeconomic impact that Midtown is really going to have to downtown, to the arts district, to the medical district, to the surrounding areas of downtown that we're really focused on bringing in this first phase.
So there's going to be high density housing there, but at a certain price point as well. You're using the term luxury as a lot. So that does mean that there will have to be more businesses that open up to support these people. So what else do you envision within this Midtown complex?
Throughout the Midtown, the plaza area that we're really focused on, which is going to be the immediate area surrounding the English Hotel, the program is going to include a lot of businesses as well. So there's a large focus on bringing food and beverage programming to this end of the arts district, and that includes stuff like a bodega that would serve, residents of the area, office space that will provide more amenity programming, postal services, getting a haircut, barbershops, that type of stuff that really is focused on the resident aspect of it and supporting that residential density.
So there have been some concerns that Midtown is going to gentrify the neighborhood. I mean, the cost of living, whether you're a homeowner or a renter, has really skyrocketed in downtown and the arts district over the past decade. So is this new development going to contribute to that? Just make it too expensive for the people who are currently living there to continue living there?
No, and really gentrification, which is often displacing, small businesses to make room for larger enterprises. That's not really what we're doing here. We have the difference between gentrification and revitalization is revitalization focuses on transforming underutilized spaces into productive parts of the community. So it's about creating a foundation for local businesses to survive. So supporting the neighborhood through restaurants, shops, services, and then a resident that'll support those economically. So that's really what we're doing. When I say, it's a luxury product, it's a really lean luxury product. So it's not about, a 10,000 square foot penthouse. It's about having the right size product in the right neighborhood that is walkable, that's enjoyable, that people are going to want to live at. So there's a lot of kind of luxury touches to this, like floor to ceiling windows and having patios that provide that kind of luxury residential experience without this a huge $1 million price tag attached to it.
Just give you a price range.
Yes, please.
So we start with 300,000 up to 800,000. There's nothing more than $1 million except penthouses. Mm-hmm. Majority are under 800,000.
So I think some of the concern, that's great. I think some of the concern with gentrification is that as people want to live closer to what you're hoping to be this nexus of urban culture, that's when we start to see rents and prices and home values go up in the adjoining neighborhood. And, bringing in business that sort of match this, the idea is this sort of like upper middle class, work from home or work nearby sort of population that you like to see in these homes, that, you have a coffee shop that has coffee at a price point that maybe someone who lives in that neighborhood now or has lived there for their whole life can't afford. So are there going to be some ways that Midtown is going to fit into that larger community, or are you not worried about how the area might shift outside of Midtown because of Midtown?
First of all, where we are, it's dirt and abandoned houses. It's really, we're surrounding two high-rise towers, and pretty much one very little, maybe 50 units, single studio apartment building. There's nothing. There's lot and the dirt. What we see is on the south of Charleston, now is 100 of brewery, restaurants, small business popping up. What they need a residence. They need a residence can live here. That's what we provide. Out our Midtown Plaza 8 buildings, 3 of them are Marriott hotel and condo hotels. Those people, without us, they will never come to here. They will never live here, spend $300 or $400 a night, spend money in the art district.
I think we're adding to the fabric that is the arts district, right? So we're not displacing anybody in the greater arts district. We're not displacing that really cool, organic, culture that is like on Main Street. And so it's a matter of adding to the people that will enjoy and, inject the economic stimulus for that neighborhood. If you really look at it, like the English Hotel opened in 2022. Since the English Hotel opened, the city of Las Vegas has approved over 3,000 residences in the area, including apartments that are going up. And so we see it that not just us, but other, there'll be other growth in the arts district because of us. That I think will just contribute to the health for everybody. And if you look at, where people will work in the businesses, if you look at how much the medical district is growing and the legal district is growing, those people want to live close to where they work, and the jobs are there. It's just the residences don't exist yet.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. Have you ever picked a vacation spot based on where you won't need a phrase book? With Babbel, the language barrier no longer has to hold you back. You can start speaking a new language with confidence thanks to Babbel's conversation-based techniques, which quickly teach you useful words and phrases about the things you actually talk about in the real world. Babbel has more than a dozen languages available for you to learn at your own pace, with material tailored to your individual proficiency level, interests, and time availability. I'm David Plotz, CEO of CityCast, and I've been learning Spanish with Babbel. What I really love about learning Spanish with Babbel is that it works with me where I am. The app and the website keep track of what I've learned. They help me review what I probably forgot from last time, and always is keeping me engaged with a new challenge based on actual conversations I might have in Spain or Mexico or Colombia. Especially food conversations, because I love food conversations. So get talking with Babbel. I want you to learn another language, so I'm teaming up with Babbel to give you 55% off subscriptions, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/CityCast, spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Babbel.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
So I do love this idea of being able to walk out your front door and walk to the arts district, walk to the breweries. It's interesting, as we were sort of prepping for this interview and thinking about walkable neighborhoods, I live in a basic town site, which is the neighborhood around Water Street. And, I realized that our historical neighborhoods were incredibly walkable and actually designed exactly how you described it, that it was designed so people could walk to work at the Magnesium the magnesium at the basic magnesium plant, that they could walk to this main drag and have everything you need. So it's interesting that we're coming all the way back around to those ideas. As longtime Las Vegans, do you have any sense, as Las Vegans and developers, as to why we moved away from that model to maybe a gated community that is a little bit separate from amenities like grocery stores and post offices?
It's a cost of a construction go vertical. We're the only one can go vertical, and people can still afford. We're the first condo for sale with this price range, first luxury condo going to be a build, and we break ground already in the last 18 years.
I mean, I think it really comes down to cost. I think it got really, really inexpensive and cheap for builders to, kind of capitalize on the suburban sprawl here. There was a lot of land to go out horizontally, and you got these, developers putting up these, cookie cutter single family homes with, really cheap construction. And that's why your home is 6 inches from your neighbor in a lot of neighborhoods, because it's generally pretty expensive for urban development. So, I mean, our company's approach to urban development is really on leveraging, innovative cost efficiencies in luxury construction. And that's what we're using to drive socioeconomic growth in these emerging revitalized areas. So one of the biggest barriers to development in these kind of underserved urban communities is the difficulty of, underwriting asset performance, primarily because there's lack of comparable assets, land value is very high, construction is very high. This makes it really challenging, but this is kind of where we set ourselves apart as developers. We address this really head on. So we specialize in our building formula to kind of bring this product to market here.
So what do you say right now is wood structure apartment building? Why don't you say what do we do? Glass, concrete, steel, aluminum. You're not going to buy wood structure vertical condo. That's why nobody buys, nobody do it. Our first building pre-sold long time ago, pretty much. You never heard us, right? Nobody knows where's Midtown. We don't advertise because we have good product. Good product will sell itself.
So how are you ensuring that Midtown fits in with that community of downtown and the Arts District?
Because nobody here. We establish our own culture. Nobody lives here.
I think it's
but
just
people do live in the Arts
res-
District in downtown.
Yeah, but I think what we're doing is we're amplifying it, and we're just helping to support this whole neighborhood in the downtown. I don't think we're a distraction from anything that's already happening. I think we're only accelerating the growth that's happening here. And you're really only going to do that with urban density.
So what is your secret to making Midtown a successful, walkable neighborhood in Las Vegas? Something that really Vegas hasn't seen before.
We have the tool to build steel, concrete, glass, aluminum tower with half time anyone else can do, 40% less anyone else can do.
I think it's also just being really smart about the programming. I mean, we lived in Vegas for a long time. We really understand the city. We have a lot of support from the city government as well into what downtown needs and what really makes sense for here. So we look at it also, I mean, we're two female developers. We have a really heightened sense of how important security is, for example. And that's one thing that, I mean, anybody who lives in the Arts District is going to be welcoming, more security, feeling more safe in this neighborhood. So I think the development will, one, deliver on that. I think it'll deliver on other programming. I think it'll help deliver on a more kind of wellness focus, getting people to walk and spend time outside and really engage with their community. I think those are all positive things that we bring to Las Vegas, to downtown, and to the Arts District.
So what's the timeline for this development?
We'll be breaking ground this year. We have full entitlements for the first two towers. We have about a 36-month plan for the first plaza, which is really kind of the center of the Midtown development, hoping to be having residents move in by the end of next year. Those will be the first residents of Midtown.
That's quick, just like you promised.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Weina and Anna, so much for being with me today and sharing about your new project.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure to be on here and to share Midtown with you guys.
Thank you, Sarah.
And that's all for today here in CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed this show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.